running from fighting for my life. I have a fire burning in me today, and that's when the Lord motivates me to leave a message. The other morning, the Lord gave me a word that if I were to continue in true vulnerability and candidness on this series, that I would receive all the healing that I need, I guess whatever that looks like here on earth. And I believe him. I believe him when he speaks to me. I receive it in Yeshua's name. Don't make excuses for who you are, child of God. Don't change who you are. Yes, it's true that we need to navigate relationships. Don't apologize for your feelings. We can apologize if we regret our behavior, if we didn't act in a right way. Sure, certainly we need to apologize. But we don't apologize for our feelings. And the light exposes the darkness. And I believe, at least my way, the way that God has made me, is to be direct. And this is how he causes me also to speak on my channel. Now, some of you might really appreciate the things that I'm sharing. And for others, it might be too much, or it's just not your way, or whatever it is. And that's fine. But I do want to be a blessing to those who have ears to hear, let them hear. That was funny. I believe that the way that we kick the devil out of our relationships is by direct communication. There's no room for the adversary to be in our relationships when we speak directly to each other. I believe, as uncomfortable as it is for many of us, I believe it gives God the greatest glory when we do that. He's like, those are my kids. I'm so proud of them. This is tough stuff, but they're hashing it out. We need to be real. God does not want us to keep our mouths shut. On the contrary, God does not want us to have to repress our feelings because we don't feel the freedom to discuss our feelings. And then if we don't feel the freedom to discuss our feelings, we need to ask why, don't I? We need to be able to discuss our truths in valued relationships. This is very important. God wants us to expose the darkness, and the way that we do that is with our voices, with a motive of love. We do have to check our motive. What's our motive? But God wants us to be liberated. God wants us to be free. Don't let anyone oppress you. Never, ever, ever. That is not God's will. Quite the opposite is true. God wants us to be liberated in our one-of-a-kind me and one-of-a-kind you. Absolutely. And don't give the devil a foothold in your relationships and friendships by oppressing your truth. Now, we do it in love. We do it with respect and honor, but we have to do it. We have to do it. We're called, Paul says, I'm not sure what book it's in. I think it's Corinthians. When we were a child, we spoke as a child, but now we're adults and we need to speak as adults. And we absolutely need to be direct in love, and we kick the enemy out. And when we are not honest in love with the motive of love, that's when we give a heyday to the enemy in our friendships. Food for thought. So I'm going to continue to be real and honest and genuine and candid in this series that God has called me to. And he's asking us to step up today. He is admonishing us to step up to our lives, to take the masks off, to be real with him, ourselves, and with one another. And in doing so, we bring him the greatest honor, and we are called to honor one another in love in Yeshua's name. God bless you from the city of the great King, and Shabbat Shalom.